Hello, welcome to the Mystical Institute of Healing Arts. My name is Alicia McNaughton, and today we're going to be talking about soul healing. The soul is multidimensional and has traveled a lot. So it has to do with a succession of lifetimes and how many times you have reincarnated as to how old your soul is, and how many realms you have traveled to. For those of us who identify as star seeds, light workers, or maybe feel like we don't completely fit in, have always felt different, have a really strong calling to be of service in some way, to help people, or display some type of extrasensory perception, or what we used to call ESP, or just being very sensitive is another trait. Often sensitive indigo adults or indigo children or crystal adults, you can look up these types of souls and just Google it, and there'll be lots of different questionnaires that you can take. There's many different types of starseeds that have incarnated on planet Earth but have lived off-world in realms such as Sirius B, Lyria, the Pleiades, Andromeda, Arcturus, just to name a few, Orion. And sometimes there are souls that have lived in more than one of those off-world star systems. And it's like a puzzle, putting together your own soul history, your own soul map, or what we would call a soul portrait. Certain souls will be drawn together who feel as if they've known each other many lifetimes, or they just feel very, very connected and like you have a lot in common. Sometimes these relationships will be very comforting at first, and then you'll find out that there is soul healing that needs to happen between you. And those relationships are, a lot of growth will happen. There's a lot of love. There's a lot of really strong learning and activation that can happen when two souls get together that have known each other for a long time, that are meant to meet up again in this lifetime. And those are our soul mates. So when you have energy that needs to heal between two souls, and this happens all the time when light workers get together or starseeds get together, or you go to group events and there's that very, very strong energy that comes in when we're doing ceremony, sound baths, Reiki classes, intuitive development classes, even meditations. Sometimes it happens in your own family. You'll feel activations happening when you're with somebody in the family, and you know there's a reason that you're there. It can happen with close friends or even clients. You can have soulmate clients if you're a life coach or a psychic reader or an energy worker, spiritual teacher. You might feel a soul connection with your clients, and there's a reason that they're there. There's a really strong connection between the souls, and they know that they're supposed to work with you. Or you might have that with one of your teachers, where you know you're supposed to work with a particular teacher. And you don't know why, you just feel really strongly pulled to go and be there at that event or with that teacher, or to call somebody up, or to spend time with somebody. Where it gets hard is when your reason for being called to work with somebody or have a relationship with somebody even is for a reason. It doesn't always mean that you're supposed to spend the rest of your life having a close bond with that person, no matter how intense or how connected or close or familiar they might feel. So sometimes it does, But often if there is soul work to do, it's just for a reason. So you might have heard the old saying, is this for a season, a reason, or a lifetime? And that's a good question that you can ask when you're wanting to know what's going on with a particular someone that you feel really strongly bonded to. It can feel really painful when it's time to move on from one of those relationships, and it can be very confusing. I see this a lot when people are coming in for readings. They're usually confused about why they felt super strongly about somebody, and then all of a sudden it shifted and all this stuff happened and they're feeling very triggered, very vulnerable, and even hurt. Well, once the connection is made and the energy exchange, whatever was supposed to happen, whatever activation was supposed to happen between two souls happens, if it was just for a reason that you were brought together, once that reason has played out, usually the universe will pull you guys back apart so that you have an opportunity to have a fresh start and start a new story, one that's not connected to healing the wounding of the past. And sometimes you can heal the wounding of the past and still stay connected. But both people have to be willing to reset and not stay in that attachment to each other. There are very strong codependent, enmeshed relationships that can happen when there's soul wounding between two people. And sometimes those relationships can be abusive even, where the person is really, one of the people is really pushing or leaning hard on the other one because there's some sort of an exchange or energy activation that needs to happen that hasn't happened yet. And so they'll start to fight with that person or push their buttons and try to create a reaction. They're trying to make something happen. They're trying to make a shift happen. And the other person might not understand what's going on and may just feel really strong that they have to heal that person, or they're there for a reason and they don't know what it is. So therein lies the importance for soul work. So I learned about soul work before I learned about light language, which I have now come to realize is the same thing. There's many different ways that you can work with soul energy. One of the ways is by working with soul symbols. And I drew this right before this class, for this class. And the way you would draw a soul symbol is simply by calling in your higher self, your guides, going into meditation, and putting pen to paper like you were going to do an automatic writing exercise, and just start to let the shapes flow. And it can feel like doodling, but you'll feel guided to draw it in a specific way, especially if you already work with your higher self, you already work with your spirit guides. This will come easier to you. We'll have a meditation at the end to call all of that energy in so that you can have an easier time connecting and drawing one of your soul symbols. Drawing these soul symbols is not the end of the exercise. Once you draw it, it's going to call forward what needs to heal in your soul. And once it comes in, it's like a soul retrieval. And often soul retrievals are coming in from a trauma. They've split off from your soul because of some kind of a trauma. And when it comes back in, it needs to be healed. It needs to be integrated. So a lot of us who work with energy understand integration work. And that just means that if you're someone who knows how to clear your chakras, if you're somebody who knows how to meditate, if you're somebody who does yoga, if you're somebody who is a Reiki master or does a shamanic practitioner, etc., you already have all of this energy cleaned up pretty good for yourself, or you have a system to clear yourself. This soul fragment doesn't. So when it comes in, it's going to need you to teach and show the light to this part of your soul. So a good idea is to call on your higher self and to allow your higher self to run energy or integrate light and clear you from psychic sludge or debris. And it's really nice to use the violet flame to clear away any blockages. There's lots of different healing modalities that if you already use them, you can reintroduce them to this part. And when this part comes in, it'll feel like work at first, and then it'll start to become healthy. And once it starts to become healthy, it's going to fill an empty space that you really needed filled. This empty space was either just creating a void in your life in general, where you weren't able to fully access this aspect of you and all that it can bring you, which is ultimately a gift. Oftentimes, if there is a vacancy, it leaves a hole in a person's energy field, and that part of the body won't have enough life force to stay healthy. So doing soul healing can be amazing once it's integrated in healing your physical body, mental body, emotional body, and even spiritual bodies. Sometimes when it comes in and it feels like it's very unhealed, people will worry that they're under some kind of psychic attack, and it's something that won't go away because it's part of you. So it's a good idea to call on your higher self and ask the question, what is this and how can I heal it? And just be soft and only allow in that which is in the highest good for all concerned, and be in a place of compassion and sending loving healing vibrations to that wounded aspect of you. If it is not connected to you and it is not yours, and you need to let that aspect go, if you have some energy that's tangled up in you that doesn't belong to you, then that is a blockage that you can remove, and you can call on your angels and your guides to release it from you and bring that to where it needs to go to be healthy and whole. But this is a lot about our soul purpose. We go into what we call separation from source light to have this succession of lifetimes in the earth school where we are learning and we are evolving from being separated from source. And then when we want to go back towards the light, we've learned from it, we went, oh, that was a mistake, I don't want to do that again. We go back into the light at that point, and we have to grow. We have to heal all of the soul wounding that has occurred from being in separation. So think of this as returning to wholeness when you're doing your soul work. And every time you draw a symbol, you're calling in part of you to return to wholeness. And when you do that, you get to have access to all of your talents, all of your abilities, all of your health, and whatever part of your life you did not have access to before that this had, you will have access to. And that can be success, that can be love, that can be wellness, all the things that people want. You know, and if the things that are worth having don't usually come easy, you have to work for them. So there's all different ways that these symbols can look, and they call this light language, and I've also heard it called starseed symbols before light language became a more popular term. But you just might feel like you're supposed to meditate with it. You can even sit down and ask your higher self, what does this symbol mean? Sometimes they'll have a name. Sometimes it will kind of show you with the way that it looks, like how the energy is going to happen when it starts to heal. Like I've gone through a healing process and then gone back and looked at the symbol and saw, oh, okay, this was like a little satellite dish calling in the light. It went through all of these different swirly areas in my body, and it started to clear out the bottom. And there's a heart, so it has something to do with love, and it's got wings, so it's very angelic. And there's all these different components, and it shows you the pathway of which energy travels. So I think it's fascinating. I've drawn hundreds of these symbols. I've done tons of this soul work, and people often ask me, you know, how it is that I'm able to do the type of energy healing that I can do, and they always want me to train them. And it's more about this integration and being able to remember what I've learned from past lifetimes to heal, you know, to heal from the things that I needed to integrate. And in the process of learning how to do that, I now know how to spot those things in other people and help them. And it's just this fascinating puzzle piece that you'll be working with for a while. And once it's done, you'll feel amazing. You'll feel way better and higher in frequency and light and ability and health than you did initially. And there is not, you won't be able to be fulfilled in an area of your life until you come back into wholeness from separation in that area. And sometimes that will only happen when you're with another person, but you have to separate when it's done for you to be able to completely self-actualize. Because if there was, you know, like traumatic bonding with somebody and you stay connected, it's just going to stay, it's going to plateau, it's never going to go anywhere. So that's the hard part. But the strong part is when you become really empowered and wise. So that's what I have to say about soul work. There is something where you can actually use your hands to do the soul work as well. It'll show up in symbols, and I'll show you some of the things that my hands have done. So like when I'm wanting to clear out the energy, like from a cord or something, sometimes my hands will do this, or sometimes it will, like when it's wanting to activate, it'll almost look like I'm typing. And there's different ways that you can do light language with the hands. So let me see if I can actually do it. I'm just trying to mimic what I do. It's hard to mimic it when I'm not actually doing it. So I will do a light language sequence to help you to call in the higher aspect of you as well, because there are higher aspects. So sometimes you lose connection with higher aspects of you that will feel much like a spirit guide or like your higher self, and it's really a multi-dimensional aspect of you that comes in with all this brilliance and knowledge and light. And this is when people start to have their awakening process, especially if you're a star seed. It feels really good to have these types of soul fragments, if you will, come in and connect with you. So there's a language that each part of these beings, the ones that are from the higher dimensions that are you, from different realms, or soul aspects anyways that are coming in to heal. Sometimes the soul aspects that are coming in to heal belong to somebody that you're gonna have an exchange with or a healing with. And when that healing is done, then that particular spirit guide or soul will go. But there are ones that are just you that will stay from your off-world experiences. And anyways, they speak a language, so it's much like channeling, but it's light language, and it can happen with toning or with voice. It can also happen in a language that's not something that you would hear on the earth plane, that comes from a specific region on earth. I mean, people speak light language all over the world, but it's a star language usually, or an angelic one. So I will speak it now for you. Prakash ambras achiana na okotombra. We welcome the being Krasanjiania na okotombra, that is your light, Prasachinia akatombra ea, and your health, Prasanjiana akaahaya nana anoshamba, for the love-centered energy, Prasanchiana akabreya na, that is your soul family, to arrive. Kania nasatash ambra okotombra eheya aheya, calling in the help of the angelic ones, Prakashambra Sachinina Akatamba, to assist you, Prokutombra Sachiana Akatamba, in your integration. Preea, ea, ea, we like the way that you heal with words. Prasanchianina Akatamba, we like the way that you heal with sound. Prasanchinina Akataaya, we like the way that you work with music. Marasanchinina Akatamba aya, and we welcome you to listen now. Walking with you, Ashra is here. The violet ray is purifying the space that you are in, aligning with the frequency of health, vitality, and wellness. We trust that you already know that you are here for a reason, and that your insight has pulled you in. As curiosity arrives on the scene, wondering which aspect of me is going to be healed when I write, we're going to ask for that to just simply be an illusion. That the mind wants to undergo a process of analyzation and structure and making things one way when they are really multiple ways, as you are multidimensional. And while we look at that in an abstract view, you won't be given everything. You'll be given what you need and what you can bite off and chew. So this is what I'll say. We'll ask for you to go ahead and breathe, filling up the lungs. And as you purify with each breath, you're going to release during each exhale with a gray mist. Allowing that wonder and enlightenment to fill the air as we create a sacred atmosphere. Activating the light language in you. We allow the light of the dragon ray to come in. Estiana okoro umahasia tiena akeea nahamba nasia ta ondoshambra akaaya. Breathing that light, those rays of the dragon flames coming in and clarifying anything that needs purification now. Calling in the realm of the elven community. Welcoming in the Fae, the fairy community. Kaya na somashea, ne sintienos, andiena hatangia nosai, ikiana hatash. Feeling the freedom and the liberation of the sprite energy of the Fae. Kaya ahana nos ok prantai inviano ukosh ambras achi. Calling in the crystalline beings, devas, manba eya no okoshamba. Feeling the crystal's light inside, igniting the passion of returning to your sacred selves. Mrakambra eti nambas otosh estia no ohamba ave ekia. Experience the kingdom and the community of the elementals as a whole. As you energize the surface of the planet with this freedom energy, this curiosity, this spark of intelligence and divine magic here on the planet. Kosh ambras eya na akashamba. Any beings that are walking through this doorway now need to go. Let them out. Koroshambra sachi ikiyama no okoshambra a avia akata amba es echi echi echi. Aligning with the frequency of light, we feel this exhale and breathe out anything that needs to release. Purifying, releasing, energizing the space. Bringing in the abundance, the wellness, the prosperity, the connection to your wisdom, your power, your light, your love. As you call in the source wisdom and the power of you to show up in this way. Kash vehe ya nehetam. Kash ha vehe yam nehetam. Kash ha vehe yam nehetam. Release. Filling up on energy here and feeling the feminine energy of the divine grace, consciousness, wisdom. As we welcome in the ancient mother, the divine feminine, calling in an aspect of you which is ready to have health again. We're just going to ask you to put pen to paper and write. Be childlike. Allow it to come to you naturally. Feel the exploration of the pen on the page. Circles and lines and crisscrosses and different shapes. Allow them to just liberate you on the paper as you come to an agreement with yourself that you're going to be open and free, aligning with the sanctuary that we have called in. Breathing that fire energy through the paper, allow it to imprint all the way through you, circling throughout your DNA. This feeling of I am welcoming myself to come home to the light. I am letting go of anything that's not mine. And I'm exploring the higher dimensions as I am ready to level up now. Calling in the realms of the unicorn, Nea, 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 support the energy as it cleanses. Welcoming in the freedom and light. Chua, Chua, Masanchi Niyama Okotomba. Koreane, Esteanavo. Feel in meditation which part of your life is going to be healed with your symbol. Asking for it to be plainly written and to be able to sense it and feel it and know it too. Breathing in light consciousness here, we feel freer with the angelic kingdom. Feeling the inspiration of the winged ones, the high ones, the beautiful realms, the confidence that comes when they are around you, circling you with light. Kea shambra sachi inyana akatombra setea ma akashonda siyama tojanea akati imiano okotombra atasha evi inya nosash hey aveya na. Circling around you are the many lives that you've lived. See them holding hands, surrounding you in a circle as they call on the many dolphin and whale beings to help you. Bringing in the Syrian dimensions, the Pleiadian realms. Calling in the Andromedan family, Broca, Yini Asia, Octurians, Mojamba Se Tina, Akotombra Seama Akash. The light of the Lyrians, Non Shaetea Maka Tombra Sajia. Filtering out anything that's not yours, feeling the purge, as easy as breathing out. As you are able to really feel and sense the soul pattern emerging, shining a light in from the crown of your head, calling in your source wisdom, your higher self, to activate, activate, activate. Allow a sense of purification to go from each chakra to your higher self. Filtering out negativity and breathing in the focus and the intention to integrate now.